dalle vicende della vita che Roma abbia detto la sua parola.
World War I and the Treaty of Versailles solved nothing and satisfied no one. Although the Western democracies, such as France and Britain, regained some stability and prosperity, no one else did. Ethnic and territorial disputes arose among the new democracies in Eastern Europe. The Bolsheviks in Russia threatened to spread their revolution and overthrow capitalism. Italy and Germany, the one a winner and the other a loser in the war, were both bitter about the Treaty of Versailles and anxious to reverse its verdict. These conditions gave rise to fascism, the belief in a totalitarian dictatorship controlling nearly all aspects of the state: government, army, press, schools, and others. However, unlike the Soviet model of communism, it allowed free enterprise and private property. It appealed to the business-oriented middle class since it gave them economic security. Finally, fascism was also intensely nationalistic and aggressive in its foreign policy. The first successful fascist takeover was in Italy under Benito Mussolini. As a young adult, he fled to Switzerland to avoid the draft and was converted to socialism there. In 1904, he returned to Italy and served time in the army in return for a pardon. He then became the editor of La Lotta di Classe, or The Class Struggle. He advocated both political assassination and pacifist resistance to a war with Turkey. He called the national flag a rag fit to be planted on a dung heap. When World War I broke out, Mussolini became editor of the national daily Avanti, or Forward. In the paper, he first advocated neutrality, and then, probably after accepting French bribes, called for Italian involvement on the Allied side. Italy made a poor showing in the war and paid a heavy price for it in men and cash. Government expenditure during the war was twice its expenditure for the whole period from 1861 to 1913. As a result, the economy was in shambles, and the country was plagued with unemployment, inflation, riots, strikes, and violence. It was then that Mussolini first joined and soon became leader of the Fascist Party, which stood for upholding claims of veterans and the nationalist interests of Italy while crushing any anarchist elements in the country. Ironically, the fascists did more to promote anarchy than anyone else in Italy at that time. Mussolini would send out his gangs of thugs, the Black Shirts, to riot against communists and other groups while claiming his men were protecting the peace. Oddly enough, Mussolini's